everyone, it's Marge once again and welcome back to my YouTube channel. I hope you guys are having a fabulous day. So today we're going to be talking about travel nursing. So a few of my friends were curious about what a travel nurse is, and I'm here to talk about it today. So if you guys don't know yet, I actually just ventured into travel nursing a few months ago after I finished my contract in one of the hospitals that I used to work at, which is a few minutes away from my apartment. So if you guys don't know yet, I used to work in the Philippines, then I moved to Kuwait, and then I eventually moved here in the US, specifically in the state of New York. And currently I'm a registered nurse, and I think I've mentioned that a million times already. Okay, so let's go into what is a travel nurse. So basically, from the word itself, you're actually working as a nurse by traveling from one place to another. If I say you travel from one place to another, you're actually either traveling from one hospital to another in the same state, or you could be traveling from one hospital to another in many different states. So you could be working in New York City, and then you go to Western New York, you go to the northern part of New York, or if you want to work from different states, that's also fine. So you can work from New York for 13 weeks, and then after 13 weeks, you move to California, and then after 13 weeks, if you don't want to be in California anymore, then you can also move to whichever you desire. Like you want to go to Arkansas, Colorado, North Carolina, you name it. Let's go to how you actually become a travel nurse. There are actually two very basic, most important things that you need to have in order to be eligible to be a travel nurse. First, you have to be an RN, obviously, right? Second, you need to have at least 2 years of solid work experience. Therefore, if you're a new graduate, you cannot be a travel nurse because you need to have a solid experience. You need to build your specialty. You need to be either a med-surg nurse, an ER nurse, ICU, or whatever the heck you're doing, okay? So once you have those two basic requirements, then you can go ahead and apply as a travel nurse. So in my case, after finishing my 2.5 years of contract to the hospital where I was working at, I went ahead and jumped into travel nurse. Why did I do that? I was actually very curious with travel nursing, just like you guys. So I was working with a ton of nurse travelers in the past, and I was like very curious. So I asked them, a ton of questions like pay-wise, how do you become a traveler? Is it okay? Is it good? Is it bad? All these questions. And I got encouraged to be a nurse traveler. So I was like, after my contract, I'm gonna go ahead and apply as a nurse traveler and see how it goes. And there you go. I went ahead and actually applied to become one. Okay, so let's go now into when you are a travel nurse, what do you actually do? So first, when you're already hired as a travel nurse, you actually tell your recruiter a specific place that you want to work at. So in my case, I said I just wanted to work in New York. So she found me an assignment somewhere in Western New York, which is 3 hours away from home. However, if you're like, I want to work in a different state, then they're going to go ahead and find you an assignment in a different state. Okay? There you go. And then once they find you a job, you will be given a contract to work in that facility or in that state or in that hospital for 13 weeks. So why 13 weeks? It's because you're only working there for a temporary position. Normally, they only need a travel nurse to fill up a position because they don't have enough staff, or maybe they just expanded their facility. Basically, they need more nurses, and it's hard for them to hire a permanent nurse in that area. And they just need somebody to fill up the position chop or right away. So that's why you're there. Now here comes the importance of why you need to have a solid 2 years experience. You're going to be working there for only 3 months or 13 weeks, meaning you're only going to be trained a very small amount of time. So with that 13 weeks assignment, your first week is actually your training period, which is only normally 3 shifts. So it's usually 3 12 shifts. I mean 3 12-hour shift. So that's not a lot of time, guys, to train. When you are hired as a regular nurse in a hospital, it normally takes 2 to 3 months to actually train you, because they need to baby you. They need to tell you every single thing in detail. But when you're a travel nurse, you are only given 3 shifts, 3 days to actually train. And then after that first week of training, you're gonna go ahead. The next 12 weeks or the next 3 months is actually your work time. So you're gonna have your own patients, you're gonna function independently. And you can ask, of course, questions along the way to your colleagues, to the nurses that you're working with, because of course, you know, you don't get everything at the same time. You have the basic knowledge, which is very important, and then the rest of the things, you know, it just goes along the way. Like if you wanna, hey, I don't know how to send this blood in the laboratory, how do you guys do it? Or hey, how do you page your doctor? Or hey, who do I page first with this kind of patients? All this, you know, kinds of questions along the way, you're going to be able to ask your colleagues how to do it. But a basic thing you need to learn during your 1 week or your first week of orientation is just, normally in my case, I just need to know that the way they do their charting. It's very important for me to know how they clock in and clock out, so you know I don't miss my pay. I need to know how they do the lab draws, whether I have to do it or do I have to call a phlebotomist. How do you page doctors? Who do you page first? You know, their paging system. And what else? Break time, you know, and all the important stuff. So 13 weeks of assignment. You can either work from one hospital to another in the same state, or you can work from one state to another. Now let's go to the so-called compact license. So how do you actually work from one state to another? Don't you need a license in every state? Yes, that is correct. Currently, there's actually a so-called compact state license, wherein there are actually 34 states that currently belong to the compact state license. Meaning, if you have a license, for example, in North Carolina, and you happen to be a resident of North Carolina, then you can actually apply for a compact state license, which means you are free to hop from these 34 states that belong to the compact license without applying for a license individually to each state that you're going to be working at, for as long as it's within these 34 states that belong to the compact license. Currently, there are other 16 states that do not belong to the compact license, and I think these are California, New York, Connecticut, and some other states. So if you want to go to those states that don't belong to the compact state, then you need to apply for a license specifically in that state. So there you go, that is a compact license. So that means you're free to move in every state every time you finish your contract, as long as they belong to the compact state. Did you get it? Okay. Okay, so what are the main reasons why people go into travel nursing? Like basically, what was my main reason? I can only think of 2 major reasons why somebody wants to be a travel nurse. First, pay. Second, adventure and experience. So why is the pay much better if you are a travel nurse as compared to when you are actually a regular nurse? Hold on 1 second, I have a call. Hello? Hi, I'm good, Veronica. Is there a way you can call me back later? You actually caught me in a very weird time. I'm doing something really important right now. Okay, thank you so much. I'll talk to you later. Okay, bye-bye. Okay, so that is a nurse traveler recruiter that's actually calling me because they want to recruit me to work for another facility. Going back, pay. So why is pay very important? So being a nurse traveler, guys, is not easy. Like I said earlier, your training period is a very little. You only have 3 shifts to work on your training period or your orientation, and then you're on your own. So they're basically paying for your expertise, for your experience, for your work. Okay, they don't have to baby you. You're just there to work. Hello, my name is March. I'm gonna be a nurse traveler here for 13 weeks, and then you're gonna be like, chop chop, you're gonna have to be working in the next 13 weeks like that, guys. Okay, so what makes your pay better than the other regular nurses that work in a regular hospital as a full-time employee? Well, they are paying for your expertise. You're not there to be trained for a long period of time. You only have basically 3 days to train, and then you're on your own in the next 12 weeks. So on top of your basic pay, you have other allowances that comprise your entire paycheck, which is your housing allowance, you have food and incidentals, you have some reimbursements, and sometimes by the end of your contract, they give you a bonus. Bonus is not very much. It's probably like about $500, you know, for every contract. But that depends on every company. It's not all the same. So let's say you were in New York and you wanted to work in California, and you were like, I am lazy to find an apartment. Your company will actually provide you a housing, and you don't have to worry about the housing. But if you are smart, you're gonna be like, I want the housing money, I'm gonna find my own place. And you can actually find an apartment that is much cheaper than what they normally pay for a housing that they would normally provide their nurses. And they actually always get you a very fancy apartment. It's very expensive, and they pay like a lot of money for the apartment. And if you're like, you know what, I don't need a fancy place, it's just me, I just need a place to sleep for 13 weeks, then you can actually budget your housing allowance, and half of the housing allowance, you paid it for your actual allowance. What the heck is that? That's the door. Then the rest of the money you can just pocket it, and it's, you know, and it's extra money for you. And yeah, and then they also pay for your airfare. So basically they pay for every single thing. Second, adventure. So if you're very adventurous, like if you're single, you're very young, and you want to actually experience living in different states, you know, having a different kind of lifestyle, then there you go. You want to go to Hollywood and live a Hollywood life, and you have a job there, you have a house there, why not? You want to go to New York City, you want to live in a fancy apartment in New York City, have a job in New York City, why not? 3 months. And if you want to go to Hawaii and live an island life for 3 months, and, you know, enjoy the ocean, there you go, you have a job there. So that's actually the fun of being a travel nurse. Also, after finishing an assignment, you have full discretion of whether you want to get another assignment for another 13 weeks, chop in pronto, or you want to take breaks in between. It's up to you. So you can just tell your recruiter, you know what, I just finished my 13 weeks assignment, I'm lazy, I just want to take 2 weeks break, I want to travel to Europe, and you can do that. So you're not obliged to work straight for, you know, just like when you're a full-time employee, you have to like talk to your manager, when do you want to get your vacation time. Here you can actually take breaks in between. You can take 1 week break, 2 weeks break, 2 months, 6 months, whatever you want, whatever you desire. But you're not paid, okay? Once you're taking a break, you're not paid. You're only paid while you're working. But normally, whatever you make while you're working will actually cover the expenses while you're not working. So a lot of single people do this because, you know, if you don't have to worry about anything, so just do whatever. And one more thing. Once you finish your 13 weeks contract, and if the facility have not found somebody else to fill up your position because you're only working there for, you know, a temporary position, then they can actually offer you another 13 weeks if they like you. And if they don't, they actually might not offer you, and they're probably gonna hire another traveler. It all varies. So let's say they offered you another 13 weeks assignment after you finish your first assignment. It's totally up to you to accept it or not. There's no pressure. You could be like, okay, fine, I'm gonna accept it. I'm fine working here. Or you're gonna be like, I'm already obliged to for as long as you finish your 13 weeks contract, then you're actually good. What else? The downside. Okay, so the downside of working as a nurse traveler are, it's very tiring. If you are not actually flying from one state to another and live there while you're actually working there, you have to drive back and forth from home to the hospital, and normally you have to be at least 1 hour away from home to be considered as a traveler. It's a lot of work. You're gonna be driving so much, and it's tiring. Second thing is that because other nurses in the unit knows that you're actually paid more than them, they could be mean to you. So sometimes they give you like really hard assignment, difficult patients. They're gonna be like, she's a traveler, she's paid more, and they're gonna be like, you know what, let's give her a difficult assignment. It's not all the time, but it does happen. But you know, you can complain. You can tell their manager, hey, they give me such a hard assignment, this is not fair. You know, you can always say something. One more downside is that your contract can be terminated anytime. So like I said, you have 13 weeks of assignment and you're only working there temporarily to fill up a position while they're looking for somebody to get that actual position. When they find someone and you're only on your, let's say, second, you know, like half of your contract, and they decide to like cut your contract because they already found somebody to work permanently on that spot, then they can actually cut your contract. So that's another downside of travel nurse. Yeah, I guess that's everything about travel nursing that I could think of. And if you ask me if am I gonna be doing travel nursing for a very long time or for the rest of my career, the short answer is no. Travel nursing for me is just a temporary job I'm doing just because I was curious and I wanted to make more in the next couple years. But my main goal as a nurse is actually to find a permanent hospital that I'm gonna be working at for the rest of my career. I am going back to be a full-time employee working as a regular nurse in one of the hospitals that I would eventually find somewhere down the road. So I don't know where and when that's gonna happen, but in the meantime, I'm doing travel nurse in order for me to get the experience of working in different hospitals. And if I find one, I'm using this opportunity to like hop from one hospital to another. And if I find one that I really like, I might just stay and stick on that hospital and work there in forever. That's it, guys. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you like this, please give me a thumbs up, and please don't forget to subscribe and comment down below if you want me to do any other videos that is either work related or not. Yeah, I hope you guys are gonna have a wonderful weekend, and again, thank you so much for watching. Have a wonderful day, everyone. Bye.